My family were Puritans. My mother blamed herself for me being gay and was very remote from me. My oldest brother, by nature, he was a bully and bullied everybody. But when you added homophobia onto that, that was pretty grim. Who was the black American that said, if you live in hell or Alabama, you get used to it? But that was kind of the the childhood years. And the funny thing was, the more you try to hide something, the more obvious it becomes to everybody else. I was so imbued with a sense of family honor and don't do anything that will bring shame. Psychologically, I turned in on myself, which was really destructive. There's a group of evangelical Christians at the university, and of course I was studying world religions, and they thought I was damned to eternity for questioning God. And then on top of that, when they realized very quickly that I was gay, they began a process of persecution. So they went round my neighbors telling them to have nothing to do with me because I was toxic. And they very deliberately destroyed several friendships. And then they would do things like go to Manchester and have evangelical rallies and name me and pray for me, and then come back and tell me, which I just found very difficult to endure. But yeah, that was nasty and deliberately nasty. They thought it through. They knew exactly what they were doing, and it was just plain vicious. When I look back, I think I should have just said, fuck off. Because if I'd done that, I'd have saved myself so much worry and upset. I first met John at a party in 1976 where I thought he was the most handsome man I'd ever seen in my life. Extremely clever. One of those people who would light up a room by walking in it. We complemented each other quite well because I was much more quiet than him. We lived together for 20 years. When we got together as a couple, he had a gay friend. And this guy, for some reason that I never understood, was absolutely determined to split John and me up. And he dedicated, every opportunity to trying to do that. And I thought, why? He's not one of John's exes. He's only a drinking buddy. And I didn't go drinking with them. So I could never quite understand that. But the other problem was when I started going into meltdown, because I was in a job that I hated and it was really destructive. I was shutting John out, and he was trying to figure out what was going wrong, and I couldn't tell him. And his friend got an opportunity to split us up because he invited John to go to Thailand regularly, and they would go at times when I couldn't go with them. But eventually, John met somebody who was working in Thailand, but was from Laos, and they hit it off extremely well. And then eventually John asked me if I would give my permission for him to go and live in Laos with his friend. I couldn't really refuse, so I gave him my blessing. When John left, I thought, I'm all right on my own, no big deal. And that was true for quite a long time because I was still busy doing other things. But it's kind of corrosive. You suddenly start thinking, yeah, I miss him, or at least I certainly miss companionship. And then you start to doubt yourself. And then you start to feel very isolated. The Jesuits say, give me a child for the first 7 years and he's mine for life. Niceness can be very damaging. And there are times when you need not to be nice. And that's been a long, slow lesson for me to learn.